we need to be get take care about the one important concept we need to be get take care about in having with identifying the object or which you will be taking with element, right? So we need to be get take care about, we need to be get take care about in identifying the object or taking with element. I mean, as part of Selenium automation, as part of any automation testing, identifying the object is the very most important one. In that, we have been taking care about using with the option considering that inspect as part of Selenium automation. As part of Selenium automation, we are using with the concept that we will be taking with inspect. At the same time, while working this particular inspect, we got 8 types of options. While working this particular 8 types of options, while working this particular 8 types of options, we need to be get utilize any of the option. I mean, we got 8 types of options considering the name and then taking with ID and considering the class and then mentioning the XPath and considering the taking with tag name, which you will be taking with tag name after the CSS and then consider link text and then mentioning the partial link text here. Considering that we got 8 types of options. In these particular 8 types of options, in these particular 8 types of options, which option need to be used? Which option need to be used? It's totally depends on tester comfortable. Which option need to be used? It's totally depends on the tester comfortable. Identifying the object, identifying the object is our target. Identifying the object is our target. Which option need to be used? Which option need to be used? That will depends on the tester comfortable. In that, we are trying to get understand working with all these options here. In this, working with the name and working with the ID and taking with the class, followed with the same step. Considering that you are just taking with HTML code, you are just taking care about in referring with HTML code. In that particular HTML code, you are seeing that in a name option, ID option, or class option. If those things are there, you are taking care about in identifying that particular object. Apart from that, another most important one, another most important one, we got considering that taking with XPath according to our understanding. According to our understanding, what is the meaning of XPath? According to our understanding, what is the meaning of XPath? In simple, meaning of XPath. Right. See that considering that this particular XPath in simple, we need to be get mentioning the group of nodes. Considering the node, considering with the node, we need to be get mentioning that in between of less than and greater than symbol. Taking with XPath, this particular XPath we need to be get mentioning the group of nodes. That particular group of nodes we need to be get consider in between of less than and greater than symbol, right? So now, if we consider this particular X path, we need to be get mentioning the two types. The one you are considering the absolute X path, and the one you will be taking with mentioning about relative X path. Considering the absolute X path, we need to be get mentioning the starts with HTML tag, starts with HTML tag, relative XPath, relative XPath, mentioning that relative XPath, mentioning that starts with attribute here. According to tester comfortable, we can get utilize any of the option. In case of these two things are not working, in case of these two things are not working, under relative XPath, under relative XPath, we need to be get considering that mentioning about XPath with attributes. So we need to be get utilize with another option considering the XPath with attributes here. Under the attributes, under the attributes, under the attributes, we got an option, right? So under the attributes, we got an option which you will be taking with, which you will be taking with XPath with single attribute, XPath with single attribute. At the same time, XPath with multiple attribute, XPath with multiple attribute. And then considering that XPath with XPath with considering that text attribute, XPath with text attribute, and then considering that XPath with contains, XPath with contains, and which will be taking with XPath with starts with. This is how you can try with different type of techniques. This is how we can go with different type of the techniques here, right? So in that, we got taking care about all the syntax. You guys need to be get comfortable. You need to be get comfortable taking care about all the respective syntax. Considering that, taking with HTML tag name, HTML tag name, square brackets, at the rate symbol, attribute type equal to in a single code, you need to be get provide that particular attribute value. Then you will be taking with multiple attribute. You have to take care about, you need to take care about in having with that particular multiple attributes. You need to be get, you need to be get take care about in having multiple attributes equal to in a single code. You need to go with that particular attribute value, right? So that is what we need to be get mentioning that taking with that particular multiple attribute. Then we got considering that text attribute. When you are taking with text attribute, when you are taking with text attribute, the tag name is common, no concept of at the rate symbol, text equal to in a single code. You need to be get provide. You need to be get provide taking with text details. You need to be get provide. You need to be get provide considering that taking with text details here. After that, after that, we got taking with contains, which you will be taking with contains. So that you need to be get mentioning that using with the keyword, using with the keyword of contains at the rate symbol, attribute type, comma, in a single code, attribute value. The similar thing, the similar thing you will be applied. The similar thing you will be applied for starts with also. Just here you will be taking with starts with. So this is what we got an understanding of while working this particular respective XPath. But we need to be get understand that what exactly make the difference. We need to be get understand that what exactly make you the difference of these things here. So let's understand what make you, let's understand what make you difference of these particular things. If I'm taking with, if I'm taking with difference of these particular things, see the understanding. Let's go with our HRMS application. So let's go with our HRMS application. So in that particular application, I'm taking with username text box. Here, I'm trying to identify this particular text box by using single attribute, XPath with single attribute. So that is what we got considering that taking with this particular name attribute. Now we can see here. If I click on enter, if I click on enter, see the application, see the application. If I click on enter, able to see text box highlighted. If I'm clicking on enter, if I'm clicking on enter, you are able to see that that particular text box got highlighted, right? So if I'm clicking on enter, if I'm clicking on enter, you are able to see that that particular text box has been highlighted, right? Okay. Now what I will do is I'll go with a very small modification. I'll go with, I'll go with a very small modification. I'll just remove one letter in the name, just only one letter. I'm just removing only one letter and click on enter. Now see here, see the application. Anything highlighting? If you see the application, any text box is highlighting. I'm clicking on enter. Even though I'm clicking on enter, is it any text box is highlighting? Highlighting or not? If I'm clicking on this, I'm clicking on the enter button from the keyboard, but are you able to see any text box is highlighting? No, right? You are not able to see any of the text box is highlighting. You are not able to see that any text box is highlighting because I removed one letter. It can be one letter, two letter. The meaning is, the meaning is if you are working with, if you are working with single attribute, multiple attribute, text attribute. If you are working with, if you are working with single attribute, multiple attribute, or text attribute, right? So if you work with single attribute, multiple attribute, or text attribute, it's mandatory that, it's mandatory that that's need to be get matched with 100%. It's mandatory that that's need to be get matched with 100%. Okay, so it's need to be get matched with 100%. Then only we can consider it has been identifying the object. Don't be confused. As simple when I compare these techniques, single attribute, multiple attribute, text attribute, whatever the attribute you provided, name attribute, ID attribute, anything, it's mandatory that it has to be matched with 100%. Then only it will identify that particular object. For example, for example, let me take. For example, let me take this particular contains. Let me take contains. Okay, see that. Now, how I'll do that particular contains here. Okay, so that I'm taking with two forward slashes, taking with the input, and then writing with contains, and then at the rate symbol, taking with name attribute only. I'm taking with name attribute only, and then considering the txt txt username provided the whole attribute txt username. Now I'm clicking on enter. Let's click on enter, highlighting the text box. If I'm clicking on enter, it is highlighting or not? I'm just clicking on the enter. Is it highlighting the text box? Yes, absolutely it is highlighting. If I'm clicking on enter, if I'm clicking on enter, it is highlighting. It is highlighting. Now, now what I will do is, now what I will do is, I'm just removing one letter. See the difference now. I'm just removing one letter and I'll click on enter. Just remove it. And now I'm clicking on enter. Highlighting. I removed one letter. Clicking on enter. Is that highlighting the text box or not? If I just click on enter, if I just click on enter, it is getting highlighting. If I'm just click on enter, it is highlighting. See the difference here. Single attribute, multiple attribute, text attribute need to be matched with 100%. Single attribute, multiple attribute, text attribute need to be matched with 100%. Okay. Now, when I'm working with the contains, I removed one letter, E, still identifying. Let me remove one more letter. Let me remove one more letter. I removed M, clicking on enter, still highlighting. See the difference here. Not like mandatory of need to be matched with 100%. Not like mandatory of need to be matched with 100%. Even though it is not matching with 100%, it is just looking into that particular characters. What exactly that particular characters are there, it has been taking care about having that particular one. Now, this time, what I will do is I'll try to remove in the starting letter. Previously, I removed in the last, right? Now I'm removing in the starting, removing the T. If I remove with the T, click on enter, click on enter. Now see, I removed the starting letter, even though, even though I removed the starting letter, even though I remove the starting letter, which I'm having, which it is identifying the object, which it is identifying the object, right? So this is what we got an option. This is what we got an option. I mean, I removed some letters in the starting, removed some letters in the ending, still identify. That is what your technique clearly saying that XPath with contains. What it is doing in the name attribute, in this HTML code, in the name attribute, these characters or contains or not, it is identifying. For example, for example, I'll remove the middle. I'm just removing the middle. I'm removing E. Now we can see. If I click on enter, is it highlighting? I removed one letter in the middle. I removed one letter in the middle. Is it highlighting? No, not highlighting, right? So if I click on enter, it is not highlighting. So that is what you got an option of. It has to be matched with that series of characters. That series of characters is mandatory. This is what you will be taking with contains. This is what you will be taking with contains. Similar to that, you got an S starts with. Similar to that, you got an S starts with. See that. Considering that, taking with input, input, and then considering that starts with in a small letter. Everything should be the small letter. I mean, starts with and contains. Starts with. Now I'm taking with at the rate, taking with name attribute need to be provide that name that I will be taking with txt username. Now we can see here, if I click on enter, highlighting, if I'm clicking on enter, if I'm clicking on enter, it is highlighting. If I'm clicking on enter, it is highlighting, right? Now, let me remove one more letter. If I remove this letter, if I click on enter, still highlighting, still highlighting. If I remove this, still highlighting. Now see the understanding. If I remove in the starting, I removed one letter. In the starting, I removed one letter. If I click on enter, is it highlighting? No, because see the technique. The technique you are writing is X path with starts with. X path with starts with. That means it has to be start with. It has to be start with by taking you written. It is understanding this name attribute need to be start with the X. But there is no name attribute in that HTML code. In that HTML code, there is no name attribute which is started with the character of X. Because of that, because of that, it is not able. Because of that, it is not able to get identify that particular object here. So this is what you will be taking with difference between contains and starts with. When I'm working with the contains, if I remove the letters in the starting also, it is identifying that particular object. But here it is not identifying, right? So this is what you got in a difference of taking with XPath with single attribute and then multiple attribute and then text attribute and then taking with contains and starts with. Okay, so according to the tester comfortable, you can get utilized. According to the tester comfortable, you can get utilized any of the option. According to the tester comfortable, you can get utilized any of the option here, right? So this is what we need to be get mentioning that. This is what we need to be get mentioning that taking with XPath techniques. So this you guys need to be get comfortable and you guys need to be get continue. You guys need to be get continue doing with the practice. You have to take care about, you have to take care about doing with the practice of this particular whole Excel file. Considering that for that particular login module and PAM module, you have to provide all your object and you have to come up with taking with all the techniques because XPath is the very most important one. XPath is the very most important one. You need to be get spend with the more time this XPath and apart from that these particular four techniques. We got totally 8 techniques. Totally, we got 8 techniques here. In that particular 8 techniques, in that particular 8 techniques, you have to take care about in having that particular 4 techniques need to be spent with the more time. I required, I required you guys need to take with the more practice. You have to take with the more practice for these particular 4 techniques. remaining just an interview. You have to look into the syntax. Just you have to take care about the syntax only. Because of that reason, I'm not coming up with any examples. So these four remaining techniques, I'm not taking with any of the example. I'm not taking with any of the example. Just we are looking into the syntax here. So what is that particular syntax? What is that particular syntax? See the tag name. Very simple. Same two forward slashes, two forward slashes, and considering that HTML tag name. HTML tag name, square brackets, at the rate symbol, attribute type equal to in a single code attribute value. The same as XPath with single attribute. The same as XPath with single attribute. Considering that the same as XPath with single attribute. Then what make you the difference? XPath with single attribute and this particular tag name, what make you the difference? The difference you will understand at the time of writing with our actual program. But for today, just you can consider that here we got provided that particular tag name. The technique itself tag name, when you're working with the XPath, when we are working with the XPath, we got providing that particular respective, we got providing that particular respective tag name here. Okay, just look into the syntax only. Don't worry it about with the examples, not like spending with the more time on that. Mainly need to be comfortable with that particular tag name. Okay. After that, taking with CSS, which will be consider CSS. Meaning of CSS, meaning of CSS, we need to be consider cascading style sheet. The meaning of CSS, the meaning of CSS, we need to be get consider cascading style sheet here. Okay. So here, while working with the CSS, what exactly the syntax to be followed? What exactly the syntax to be followed? As simple, as simple, that particular syntax, you will be considering that no forward slashes. There is no forward slashes which you will be taking with HTML tag name, which you will be taking with HTML tag name, and then taking with square brackets, at the rate symbol, attribute type equal to, in a single code, you need to take with attribute value. You need to be take with attribute value. This is what the syntax to be followed. The syntax to be followed to work with the CSS, no concept of the two forward slashes, no concept of the two forward slashes. You need to take care about in having that particular HTML tag name and then square brackets at the rate symbol attribute type equal to attribute value. Okay. Now, the last two things, link text and then partial link text. Link text and partial link text. How you can go with these two techniques. For that, for that, when you refer any application, when you refer any application, As an example, see this logout. I'm taking this logout. I'm recognizing, doing the right click, taking with the inspect, doing the right click, and taking with inspect. Once you done with the inspect, you got highlighted one. Now refer the highlighted one. If we look into the highlighted one, in that particular highlighted one, is there any name option? Is there any name option? No. Any ID option? Any ID option we got? No. Any class option we got? Class option? No. There is no name option. There is no ID option. There is no class option. That means we can decide that, we can decide that, we can confirm that, we can decide that, we can confirm that there is no concept of, name option. There is no concept of name option, and there is no concept of ID, and no concept of the class. So we cannot work on that. That means another option we need to try. Another option we need to try taking with XPath, right? So another option we need to be try taking with XPath here. So XPath can be applied. XPath can be applied for any of the object. But apart from that, if we look into, apart from this, if we just look into the highlighted one, see the tag name. What is the tag name we got? In the highlighted one, see the tag name. What is the tag name we got? Small a, right? So if I consider this particular tag name, if I consider tag name of small a, according to the HTML, the tag name of a, we can consider that anchor tag. Okay, we can consider that anchor tag. Meaning of anchor, nothing but link. The meaning of anchor is link, right? That means in the HTML code, if you are able to see tag name is small a, in the HTML code, if you are able to see the tag name is small a, then we can take care about providing, or we can understand working with the technique of link text, or we can work with partial link text. We can take with link text, or we will be taking with partial link text here, right? So don't be confused, as simple. When you're referring with the HTML code, in the HTML code, if you're able to see with the tag name, provided as a link text, or I mean, as a tag name of a, then you can decide working with the technique of link text. What is the text he got? That text is nothing but logout. That particular text, is nothing but logout. So now you can provide the text. The whole text need to be matched. When you are taking with partial link text, when you are providing with partial link text, you're giving the partial text. In case of the text is matching partially, in case of the text is matching partially, it's need to be get able, it's need to be get able to identify that particular object. It's need to be get able to identify that particular object. So that is what you will be taking with. That is what you will be taking with. Considering that, mentioning about having with, right? So mentioning about taking with the link text or partial link text. As simple, what is your understanding? Refer the HTML code, see the tag name. If it is provided as small a, decide that anchor tag. Anchor tag is nothing but link. Then you can use the technique of link text or partial link text. Okay, so this is what considering the whole concept of object identification or taking with element element locators. So before getting started with the Selenium automation, before getting started with the Selenium automation, you guys need to be more comfortable with this and then taking with the concepts of core Java. So in the object identification, mainly four techniques, that particular four techniques, you guys need to be go with more practice. Along with that, core Java, you are already knowing. Now, by taking with the help of these two things, by taking with the help of these two things, we need to come up with in writing with Selenium program. In writing with Selenium program. So how we can write Selenium program? How we can write Selenium program? Okay, let's see that. Let's see that. So if you want to write Selenium program, to write in a program in Selenium, you need to be get follow some standards according to most of the things you are knowing it. Just I'll give an overview. Need to follow the same thing here. So first thing, first understanding, first understanding on which basis we have to develop automation scripts. If we take with the automation testing, if we take with the automation testing, on which basis you have to develop automation scripts? Right. So the very first thing, taking with manual test cases. Based on manual test cases, based on manual test cases, we need to be get take care about. Based on manual test cases, we need to be get take care about in developing with automation scripts. Based on manual test cases, based on manual test cases, we need to take care about in developing with automation scripts. Now, according to our understanding, developing the automation script, developing the automation script is nothing but performing the action. Developing the automation script, developing the automation script is nothing but performing the action. Okay, performing the action is nothing but, performing the action is nothing but, according to your understanding, according to your understanding. Let's go with programming, your Java programming. According to the Java programming, if you want to perform the action, how you can perform the action? According to the Java programming, if you want to be get perform the action, how you can perform the action? That's through programming. How you guys will perform the action? It can be anything. I'm just considering that one action. If you want to be get perform the action, how you can perform the action? Mhm. Right. As simple, as simple, you will be taking with the help of method, right? If you want to be get perform, if you want to be get perform any kind of action, you will be taking with method. That method, how many types? Java only. That method, how many types? According to the Java, if you take with the methods, how many types you can say? The types of methods, the common methods, right? In simple, we can say that considering the two types of methods, right? So we can consider the two types of methods. The one you will be considering the one you will be considering the predefined, and another one you will be considering the user defined. The one you will consider, the one you will consider predefined methods, the one you will consider predefined methods, and then taking with user defined methods, right? So one is predefined, one is predefined, and another one user defined. So you got two types of methods. You got two types of methods considering the predefined methods, user defined methods. Now that particular predefined and user defined, it can be related to, or it can be related to selenium. That particular predefined method, that particular predefined methods, it can be related to selenium or it can be related to Java. As simple as you want to perform the action. To perform the action, to perform the action, we are taking with the help of method. To perform the action, to perform the action, we are taking with the help of method. That method, that method available according to our understanding. If we consider methods, methods will be available in general where methods will be available. If we consider with the methods, methods will be available in, it can be predefined or it can be user defined. According to the programming, methods will be available in class. At the same time, at the same time, class will be available in, if we consider with the class will be available in, method is available in class. Method is available in class. Consider the class. Consider the class. Class will be available in, class will be available in package. Package. Considering that package. Package will be available in, method is available in class. Class is available in package. Now package will be available in, if we take with the package will be available in, okay, see the understanding. That particular package, that particular package available in, sorry, the package available in jar file, the package available, the package available in jar file. See the hierarchy. Requirement is need to be perform the action. To perform the action, you are taking the method. That method available in class. Class available in package. Package available in jar file. These particular jar files, these particular jar files available in Google, available in Google or considering the respective website. available in Google or the respective website. I mean, if you see the whole understanding of programming, the whole programming concept, what you guys learn, what you guys learned in the Java, the whole programming concept is requirement need to perform action. To perform the action, taking with the method, that method available in class, that class available in package, that package available in jar file, that jar files available in Google or that particular respective websites here. Okay, so that is what you done. If you guys want to cross check, you can cross check what exactly you learn for the whole Java programming. Looks like you learn a lot of concepts here. But if you look into the whole conclusion, according to the requirement, you learn some methods, you learn the class, for a class you learn the package. Jar file you may not learn because because according to programming, consider with the Java programs. Where you guys written the Java programs? If you take with the Java programs, where you written the Java programs? Eclipse, right? All your Java programs, all your Java programs, you have been written in Eclipse. All your Java programs, you have been written in Eclipse. So while working with the Eclipse, while working with the Eclipse, if you're taking with the Eclipse, if you're taking with the Eclipse, while working with the Eclipse, Eclipse is already taking care about. Eclipse is already taking care about in having jar files to the project related to the Java, related to the Java, whatever the projects has been required, related to the Java, whatever the projects has been required, sorry, jar files has been required, all that particular jar files, it is already taking care about in adding to the project. Okay, because of that, because of that, because of that, we have not added any jar files here. You can refer any of the project, any of the project. By default, you will have JRE system library, JRE system library, all the jar files only. So related to the Java programming, related to the Java programming, whatever the jar files has been required, whatever the jar files has been required, already Selenium has been taking care, sorry, Java Eclipse has been taking care about in adding all the jar files. Because of that reason, you guys has been not added or not downloaded any jar file. But our requirement, now our requirement, not only Java. Now our requirement is, our requirement is not only Java. Along with the Java syntax, along with the Java syntax, we need to be get, along with the Java syntax, we have to take care about Selenium programming, right? That means if you want to begin work with Selenium, if you want to begin work with Selenium, you required Selenium jar files. What you required? Selenium jar files. If you want to work with the Selenium, if you want to get work with the Selenium, you required Selenium jar files here. Once you got Selenium jar files, once you got Selenium jar files, based on the jar files, based on the jar files, you will access packages and you will access class and you will access method. So how you will do all those things once jar files are available for your project. Once your jar files are available for your project, you want to access the method in programming according to the Java programming. If you want to be get access the method, how you can access the method according to the programming, how you can access the method in Java, how you guys are accessing the method. If we take the method, how we are accessing the method, right? Exactly. By creating with object. You are creating with the object. You are creating with the object, and then you are accessing that particular method. Similar way, you need to get access for the class. How you are getting access for the class? Assume that you want to access the class. How you will access the class? To access the method, you are creating the object. In a similar way, if you want to access the class, how you can access the class? I mean, I'm talking about predefined classes. Assume that predefined, user defined. You created classes, classes are already available. Then you have to access the class. How you can access the class? Right, which you will be taking with import. You are taking with import. To access the method, to access the method, you are creating the object. To access the method, you are creating the object. At the same time, to access the class, you are taking with import. You are taking with import. Now, similar to that, you want to access package. You want to access package. To access the package, to access the package, you have to take care about, you have to take care about adding the jar file. Considering that, add jar file to project. Add jar file to project. Now, how you will access the jar file? That jar file, you have to take care about download activity. You have to take care about download activity. See the understanding. To access the method, to access the method, you are creating object. To access the method, you are creating object. To access the class, you are doing import. To access the package, you are adding jar file. To get access for jar file, you are taking with download. This is what your whole conclusion of your programming. If you want to cross check, you can cross check what exactly you guys learn. How many days you are learning with the Java. That is what your conclusion. Just according to the requirement, according to the requirement, you have to take care about in understanding what are the methods need to be used, what are the class need to be used, and what are the package need to be used. So now this is what the whole hierarchy need to be get followed while doing with this particular Selenium programming. See the whole understanding. First, we got manual test cases. Based on manual test cases, based on manual test cases, need to be developed automation script. Need to be developed automation script. Developing the automation script, developing the automation script is nothing but performing the action. Developing the automation script is nothing but performing the action. Performing the action is nothing but performing the action is nothing but you will be taking with method. So for the method class, for class package, for package jar file, the jar file you are downloading. Once you download, you will add it to the project. Once you are adding the jar file to the project, based on the jar files, you can access packages, you can access class, you can access method, right? So that is what you are taking with, that is what you need to be get followed the hierarchy. So this is what you have to follow. Apart from this, to work with the selenum, you have to take care about selenum installation. What exactly the steps to be followed for the selenum installation? For the selenum installation, what exactly the steps to be followed? Rather than installation, we can call as selenum setup. Rather than installation, we can call as selenum setup. You have to make sure that your system is ready with all these particular steps. So what are the steps here? What are the steps? See that. So considering that, first is your Java installation. Your Java installation. I mean, you have to make sure that your Java installation is done. And after that, which you will be taking with Eclipse, which you will be taking with Eclipse. You are already done these two as part of your Java training. You are already having the Java and then Eclipse. Both are available. You will continue the same. You will continue the same, not required to disturb. You will continue the same, not required to disturb. Okay. Apart from this, related to the selenium, what need to be done? Related to the selenium, what need to be done? So that particular one related to the selenium, what need to be done? Okay. So that is what you have to take care about considering that download selenium jar files. You need to download selenium jar files. You need to be download selenium jar files to local system. You need to download Selenium jar files to local system and add to project. Two things we have to do. First, you have to download Selenium jar files to local system and add it to project. So first we'll understand how we can download. After that, we will understand how to add it to the project. Download, very simple. How you can download Selenium jar files? Very simple. Let's go with Selenium website. You need to go with Selenium website. So you got an option, documentation. Sorry, downloads. You are taking with the option, downloads. Just make a note of this URL for downloading the jar files. For downloading the jar files, make a note of this URL. Just you can directly go to that URL. For downloading Selenium jar files, directly you can go to that URL. Okay, right. Now go to this URL, go to this URL. You can just come down. You can just come down. If you come down, you got an option, WebDriver language bindings. WebDriver language bindings. Just if you come down, you have an option considering the WebDriver language bindings. Okay, so now you can see here. So just if you have this option, which you are working with Java. We are not .NET, Ruby, we are not working. We are working with the Java. You can see the Java. Just you can click on the link, stable 4.9.0. If you just click on the link, it will download. Just click on this, just click on this. it will download one zip file. It will download one particular zip file. So which it has been downloading, which it has been downloading one particular zip file, right? So just go to the Selenium website, go to the Selenium website, and then and then take with the WebDriver language under that Java. Now that is downloaded, right? So what I will do, I'll copy that. I'll just copy. I'll just copy. And then in your local system, any of the drive, in your local system, in your local system, any of the drive, create one folder, jar files. Create one folder, jar files. Okay, just open that. And then I'm having multiple versions because I'm creating one more sub folder, Selenium 4.9. So you guys just create one folder. You guys just create one folder saying that jar files and provide that particular zip file. Now what you have to do, just take the right click, just go with the right click, extract. Just go with the right click, extract. It will download as a zip file. It will download as a zip file, extract. Just click on S to all. If you're getting this pop-up, S to all. That's it. Now you're able to see all the jar files. Everything is a jar file. You have one folder, live folder, open that, lot of jar files. What is the purpose of all the jar files? We are not worried. We are not worried about all these particular jar files. Just in simple, once you downloaded, the jar file of Selenium-Java 4.9, just you have to do the extract. That's it. Just you have to go with extract. Once you done with the extract, once you done with the extract, whatever the jar files are there, all these particular jar files, all these particular jar files, you need to add to the project. All these jar files, you need to add to the project. Once you got, once you got added to the project, once you got added to the project, you have to take care about, you need to take care about doing the programming. Programming, same thing, same Java syntax you will follow. Creating the project, creating the class, creating the method, everything you will follow the same. So for now, what we done, we just downloaded, we just downloaded jar files to local system. Once we downloaded jar files to local system, we need to add it to the project. We need to add it to the project. So how to add it to the project and then how to write the program. That is what we'll do on Monday. Okay, so from Monday, we are coming up with doing the programming of Selenium. In a meanwhile, just you guys be ready to downloading Selenium jar files. Just be ready to have a downloading Selenium jar files here. So just download it and maintain in your local system. So once you got maintained, once you got maintained in your local system, once you got maintained in your local system, then we can get added to the project. How to add it to the project, I'll discuss on Monday, and then we'll go with writing with the program on Selenium here. Okay, right. So please take care of that. So for Monday's session, please take care about downloading Selenium jar files here. Okay, right. Clear everyone, guys? In case of any questions, they can carry on. So not automatically extracted. We have to extract. That is what I told, right? We have to extract. Okay. We need to download it, create one folder in your local system saying the jar files. Under that, copy the zip file and then do the extract. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. Please take care about the things. We'll meet you on Monday. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone.